Pittsburgh Steelers win yet another low-scoring affair here in Week 2 to improve to 2-0 on the 2024 NFL season, beating the Denver Broncos at Highmark Stadium in Mile High, 13-6. So obviously, Steelers offense started out pretty good. There were some penalties that definitely hurt this offense from scoring more points in this football game. But this offense, man, really struggled in the second half, only getting 3 points, allowing the Denver Broncos to stick around. But lucky for us, man, I mean, my prediction on the Steelers defense absolutely dominating in this game came true with flying colors. We're going to talk about everything that happened on today's show. But before we get into it, spam those W's. The Steelers are 2-0. Down there in the comments section, if you're happy the Steelers are 2-0, spam those W's to celebrate today's victory. Okay, so we'll get into the a little bit here of an injury update here. What's that, Coop? So we'll go game balls first here. We'll get to the injury at the end of the show. Let's get into the game balls. I'm going to give my first one to Darnell Washington, the tight end, because he got his first ever career touchdown today, man. That's awesome. And that's the only touchdown the Steelers have this season through the first 2 games. Justin Fields put a really nice back shoulder ball on him in the red zone, and he came down with the catch. So great job on Darnell Washington's part. I do think Darnell is going to be a little bit of a red zone threat this season. Obviously, he's got the big body. He is such a size matchup, and they lined him up outside to see if they were going to put a little guy on him, and they did, and they exploited that matchup by going to him on the back shoulder. Got the touchdown. Good throw by Justin Fields. Good execution on his part as well. He gets my first game ball in this one. My other game ball goes to another first on the Steelers today in their career, and that's Cory Trice Jr.'s first career interception against Bo Nix. The Broncos finally seemed like they were getting something going. They had a crazy trick play to get inside the 10, and then the Steelers pass rush got pressure on Bo Nix, and he threw an ill-advised pass. And honestly, Cory Trice Jr. made an awesome play reading the eyes of Bo Nix, finding the ball, and then getting the interception. So listen, Dante Jackson, we'll talk about him and his injury a little bit later. Cory Trice Jr. was not only the starting dime backer and played great in that role today, but he came in as a depth piece at corner in Dante Jackson's stead, and he played great in this football game. So big shout out to Cory Trice Jr. Another game ball goes to George Pickens. Now, he had some catches today, and there's once again a big catch down the field that was negated by a penalty. Broderick Jones had a big holding call, and it was just an unbelievable throw from Justin Fields rolling to his right, hitting George Pickens in stride in a contested catch scenario. Only 29 yards on 2 catches per the stat sheet. But honestly, man, he converted a big-time 3rd down and long early in the game, one-on-one coverage against Pat Surtain. There's a number of his catches that were brought back thanks to penalties. I honestly thought George Pickens showed that he can go toe-to-toe against another team's lockdown number 1 receiver and still get open consistently. That does a lot for how George Pickens is going to be viewed around the National Football League. He is a bona fide number 1 receiver in this league. Then we get to Deshon Elliott, the safety, who just continues to make plays. He had that interception last week. He blew up a 3rd and short, I believe it was, for a tackle for loss. He had a number of tackle for losses in this football game. He's just everywhere, man. He's making plays. He's doing a good job in coverage. He's playing all over the place. He is the Steelers' defense secret weapon. He's playing all over the place, man. They're bringing KZ in to be that other safety, and they're letting Deshon kind of roam around, and he's doing a great job in that role. So I love what he brings to the Steelers' defense, and he's one of the reasons why the Steelers' defense is the best in football through the first 2 weeks. So let me know down there in the comments section, who is the MVP of today's game? Now, obviously, when you score 13 points, who really stands out? I'm going to give mine to Cory Trice Jr. because that interception was absolutely massive. That turning point in the game really made this thing, it could have been a lot closer than it was at the end of the day. So good job on Cory Trice Jr. I'll give him my MVP for the day. Then we'll get into the injury update here on Dante Jackson. He was injured in the second half. I'm sure Mike Tomlin is talking to the media right now as I speak. I'm sure he's giving an update. But as of right now, man, it looked like, trainers were talking to him. He had to come off the field once. He came back, made a tackle for loss. Had a pretty darn good game here in Week 2, I'd say. I really hope he's all right. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Mike Tomlin has to say about his status once I see his press conference later today. Now, coming up here, takeaways versus the Denver Broncos. I got 4 takeaways here, and I think that some of these might be a little bit spicy, so make sure you guys stick around. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And folks, we all know that watching a Steelers game at Acrisure Stadium or a Pirates game at PNC Park, there's just nothing that beats it in terms of watching it on television, right? You got to be there, seeing those terrible towels at Acrisure Stadium flying around. It's just an experience you have to see in person. So if you haven't been able to do that yet, Game Time Picks is a great tool that you can use to get a great seat from our friends at Game Time. And this is how you use it, guys, okay? You're going to go into the Game Time app. You're going to find a game that you want to go see. So let's go the home opener next week versus the Chargers. All right, you go into that game, you select the GT Picks button, and what Game Time is going to do is it's going to send all the tickets in their database through a special algorithm to show you the best deals they have for this game on their platform. So it's absolutely fantastic. It allows you to make quicker decisions as to what tickets you want to get. You don't have to spend hours searching a bunch of different ticketing apps, all this different stuff, because Game Time does give you the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event. And with this tool, you can see the best deals on the Game Time platform. So it's a really great tool if you don't want to spend a bunch of time looking for tickets. Game Time Picks is absolutely fantastic, man. They also have all-in pricing on the app, so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to the start of your event. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code ChatSports for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. So my takeaways versus not Atlanta, the Denver Broncos. I have Coop in the chat. I still think Fields has some work to do. All right, this team is 2-0. But that's because of the defense. If we're being completely honest with you. And I'm not saying that Fields has been bad through these first two games. He hasn't thrown an interception. He hasn't given up the ball via a turnover. All right. He is being a decent game manager. All right. But right now, through two games, the Steelers have not scored more than 18 points. All right. And right now, if Russell Wilson is healthy, you can't help but wonder, all right, if we put Russ in there, does this offense look better or worse? Because right now we're in a spot where we can win football games with Justin Fields, but maybe we don't dominate football games with Justin Fields, all right? And that might be a question that the Steelers want to have answered with Russell Wilson moving forward if he's healthy to go for week 3. But if you believe Jerry Dulack's report earlier this weekend, it looks like Fields is going to get one more opportunity here against the Los Angeles Chargers. That's a 2-0 football team. They're a physical football team. I think that he's got to get this offense to more than 20 points, and they have to come away with the victory here if Justin wants to stave off Russell Wilson and retain his QB1 spot. Then we get to Broderick Jones, and I think it's time to bench Broderick, okay? But not for the long term, all right? I still want to believe in this kid's future, but right tackle's not going to work for him, all right? He's too heavily penalized. He loses too quickly. He's not comfortable on that side of the ball. So what I would do if I were the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it seems like they might do this now, start Troy Fautano at the right tackle spot moving forward because that's where you see him in the future. And then you have Dan Moore Jr., who's actually been pretty darn good at left tackle so far this season. Keep him there. And then you have Broderick Jones that can come in if somebody gets injured. But now you can give Broderick a chance to really focus in on a transition to left tackle full-time. He can develop on that side of the ball, and he doesn't have to, go back and forth at right tackle and left tackle because it's clearly affecting his development. If you want this kid to be your future left tackle, bench him for this season, develop him this season, and let Dan Moore Jr. play out the final year of his contract as your starting left tackle. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 60,000 subscribers. We are the largest individually run Steelers news channel here on YouTube, so we greatly appreciate your support. Put out videos every single day. Most of the time during the week, 2 videos a day, because we're constantly pumping out videos and content for you guys. Pause. But we really do appreciate all of your guys' support. Then we get to Beanie Bishop Jr., and you can still see he's a weak link in the Steelers defense. You can see that an offense can absolutely exploit him. That's why the Steelers went to a lot of 3 safety stuff today, getting KZ and Deshon Elliott out there instead of Beanie Bishop Jr. So Beanie, I love his story. I love his mentality, man, but he does look small out there, and he's not particularly good in man-to-man coverage at this point. So I do think this team is going to just take it to another level when they get Cam Sutton back, who can play the slot. And I do think this team is probably going to play more and more 3 safety stuff with Deshon Elliott playing the slot because Beanie is struggling a little bit out there. Then we get to the final thing here, and this is a must, all right? And this is where I completely agree with the people defending Justin Fields and the lack of points for this offense with him under center. got to clean up the penalties, man. I mean, Broderick Jones had 3 penalties on not even a full drive. I mean, that's just a joke. In the second half, you had holding penalties. Even on defense, they were starting to get some penalties. So obviously, this Steelers team needs to clean it up. I have all the confidence in the world that they're going to do that. You got to get Broderick out of there to prevent as much offensive line penalties as possible. But yeah, I mean, even when Russ is in there, you can't be putting this offense into third and very long situations, especially because Russ doesn't have the legs Justin has. All right. So at the end of the day, you need to stay on schedule. That's how this offense is designed. And, pre-snap penalties, holding penalties, all these different things. It's going to get this team off schedule, and that's going to lead to a lull offensively. That's what happened today. Hopefully it doesn't happen in the future. So now it's red pen time. Let me know down there in the comments section. Grade the Steelers' performance today versus the Broncos. Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F. Just like last week, I'm going to give them an A+ on the defensive side of the ball. They did a great job. But offensively, I got to give them a B-, C+. So, let's give them a B+ in this one. B, I mean, this game should not have been close, in my opinion, guys. The Steelers were clearly the best team on the field. The Broncos couldn't move the ball the entire game, yet they still had the ball with a technical chance to tie the game at the end of things. Like, that's just unacceptable to me when you dominate the time of possession battle. When you ran the ball as decently as you did today. You got a rushing quarterback out there that the defense has to account for, right? So I'm going to give them a B+. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now. Some final thoughts here on this football game. This game should have been a lot more comfortable than it was. I predicted 23-6. I got the Denver part right. The Steelers underperformed expectations for me. The penalties played a part in that. Justin Fields' lack of ability to be a drop-back passer definitely played a part in that. The run game stalled a little bit in the second half. That played a part. But at the end of the day, man, this offense under Justin Fields needs to get over 20 points, and they need to get into the end zone more often if he wants to remain the starter, because that question still looms in the background of whether Russell Wilson can do better. All right, so, unless Justin completely puts an end to that next week against the Los Angeles Chargers, I do think Russell Wilson is probably still going to be listed as the QB1 on the Steelers depth chart for the 3rd straight week. So let me know down there in the or not down there in the comment section. Make sure you click that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 60,000, man. Really do appreciate your support. And until next time, here we go, Steelers.